Today we'll take a look at the anime series Harley Quinn expression set, and yes, this box was advertised to be, you know, like damaged and stuff. This was the last decent price one on eBay. Maybe because of the damaged box, but you know, including shipping, this was still quite expensive. And you know, I only recently just realized how expensive these things are on the aftermarket. So if there are any Batman anime series figures that you really like, you should get them or pre-order them as soon as they're announced or come out. But yes, so I still don't have the Joker Expressions pack. If anyone has a spare one they'd like to sell for a decent price, please, I'd like to have that. Sad times. First world problems, eh? But yes, anyway, so Harley Quinn here, she's got all expressions, of course, extra accessories and such, and two like dogs there. Not the first time these dogs were available. They're also available in one of the Joker packs for some reason. Okay. So yes, let's take a closer look. Harley Quinn, she cannot stand on her own whatsoever. Her feet are just too tiny. So this figure comes with this stand. You see, it's a pretty big stand with a lot of holes on it and this huge arm thing. But you see, this arm thing is way too tall. So even you just grab to that, it doesn't quite make sense. I'm just gonna lean it forward. It's a nice flight stand, nice stand itself, and this is spring loaded here, so that's cool, I guess. So yeah, but in terms of accessories, aside from relaxed hands that were on the figure, she also comes with a pair of fists and a pair of gun/item holding hands. In terms of facial expressions, she comes with obviously her Harley Quinn cell head, like the unmasked face. She has a neutral smiling expression, a expression, expression, kind of awkward laugh, sad, shocked, as well as this weird white one. I'm not sure what that eye is for. I can't remember what that facial expression is for. Next up, she has this weird bullet fish thingy that gets stuck on her. There's a whole peg in there. You just take the head off and plug this on. Kind of cool, I guess. I sort of remember this from a certain episode. It's a very soft-ish plastic. Reminds me of like kids' toys, but it's painted quite well. You also have this face there, so that's a nice episode specific accessory. She has a revolver, it has a hole in it, and this little peg that pegs in to give it some smoke, so that's kind of cool. She has a Joker staff, and this one, all of it's made by the same-ish plastic, so there's a little bit of give to them, so hopefully that means stuff won't break. She has a bazooka here. She has a bazooka here with a scope that's painted in, as well as this tag, not sure what that is. It's a solid piece, like nothing moves or rotates anything, and oh, that bits of paint has come off from the plastic tray packaging. That's annoying. But she also comes with this boxing glove that you can plug in, and it's going to fire this boxing glove. Well, not actually fire, but it looks like it's going to fire it. She also comes with this tiny bottle with a corkscrew on top, and this soft Batman belt that she can like put on and look sexy in it, I guess. I can't remember which episode it's from, but you know, obviously when they capture Batman. And I think that's the one with the upside down fish thing where she's like, look Joker, Mr. J, I've caught Batman, and Joker's like, oh, this joke doesn't work, get lost and stuff. And she also has two of her hyenas. Now these figures did show up in one of the Joker figure releases before, so it's not the first time or the only way you can get them. If you want these hyenas but you don't want to pay expensive monies for this big pack, you can still get them in one of the smaller Joker packs, which is not too expensive, I think. Both of these are the exact same thing except for the face being different, one with open mouth and one just smiling. So I'm just going to go with the smiling one here. So in terms of articulation, he does rotate a little bit. There's a little bit of look up and down, just ever so slightly. These arms and legs move individually, and the tail will like go side by side as well. They rotate, so all the way up. Finally, in terms of Harley Quinn, she also comes with some roller skates, blades or whatever to get her out. I assume I just pull on her feet. Really don't want to break anything, but God, get them off. That peg's really hard. So here's Harley Quinn with these roller skates. Her figure actually like broke, like a peg snapped down there, so I drilled a hole and then I put I cut a Lego hand and, you know, like cut the sides down so it's the same size and then stuck it in there. That's annoying. Like, this skate stays on quite well, but if I like replace that back with her regular feet, it it's not quite as secure as what it was before. So I might go back to this and find another peg, like redo the peg to make it like longer and stuff. That's definitely annoying. Maybe I'll go buy some plastic dowels or something, just so I can have a longer peg to go in there, because this isn't staying on quite as securely as I would hope it would. So that's definitely annoying. Damn it, this is like another one that's broken. If I just be very careful with this and pull it straight, it's fine. So that's something to be mindful about. So her handbags are tight and her leg pegs are tight. So yeah, be careful with this figure. As well as this giant stand that doesn't quite work properly. I mean, look how tall that stand is. If I just try to move it as down as I can, it's still way too tall, so you're gonna have to put it in an awkward position. And while this thing is kind of nice that it's spring loaded, you can see it becomes off center if you peg it a bigger figure into it. But fortunately, Harley Quinn is a very small figure, so she will do just fine with this stand. In terms of articulations, she has I'm assuming a ball peg, looks down a little bit, looks up, a little bit sideways, so yeah, single ball peg for the neck. Elbows can go, well, this far up, doesn't go any more, and it's also on the clicky joints, and basically you have this, and that's it. So that's not going to go any further, and I don't really want to break this figure, so I'm not going to risk it. Rotation there, single elbow joint with a rotating peg, so about 45 degrees there, and hands are on the little pegs. But again, this feels very fragile because of the plastic they use. I don't like it at all. Leg goes forward that much and back. It goes back more than it does forward, and sideways that's pretty decent. Although of course she's going to look a bit awkward when you do that. Single knee joint about 45 degrees, and these feet are, well, were on a just a little peg joint, this like rotating, so which is probably why it broke, because I was just trying to see if it had any like slightly like slanted like swivel, but no, it just rotates. And yeah, I really need to replace that. In terms of the sculpting and paint job, those are spot on. This looks exactly like the Harley Quinn in the animated series, and which every single figure in this line has pretty much nailed, so no complaints there. The over articulation is very limited, so I'm not too big a fan of that. Articulation honestly kind of sucks. I mean, she's very slim, her shape is not bulky at all. She should be able to do more poses than some of the other characters, and yet she's seriously limited. Her figure can also look a little bit awkward under certain poses, especially around the elbows. So her figure is more of a neutral stance figure. In terms of accessories, this figure is great. All the faces are nice, the hyenas are nice, and the other accessories, more episode specific ones, are also pretty decent as well. The stand is a nice touch, but its usability is somewhat awkward and limited. I feel like I could be using the stand for other characters that would fly instead of the standing characters. But of course my biggest problem comes down to her durability. The animated line from DC Collectibles or DC Direct is a bit of a hit and miss. If you're a collector that just wants figures to look like their cartoon counterpart and just display in boxes or just stand on a shelf somewhere, then these figures are great. But if you're someone like me who likes to mess around with the figures, or maybe do photo shoots, or do different more dynamic poses, you're gonna have to be really careful. Especially Harley Quinn, being a figure based on the female designs of the show, where all of their limbs are very slim and tiny, she's very fragile and delicate. I suppose I could replace all the joints with like some little metal dowels or something, but come on, I shouldn't need to do that. This figure should be more solid than it is right now. For the price that she's currently going for on eBay, she's still a decent enough pickup, but do be mindful how fragile she is. If her price continues to go up, I would not recommend this figure at all. I recommend this figure to people who really like the animated series and must have every single figure from the line. Otherwise, if you're just looking for action figures to play around with, you're probably better off with the McFarlane release of the Harley Quinn figure. For people who don't want to pick up the Expressions pack or just want to pick up a cheaper version, the old one is still readily available on eBay, and there will be a Adventures Continues Harley Quinn available soon from DC Collectibles, so you can probably get it for cheaper there if you don't want any accessories. Overall, I'm still glad I picked this figure up, but I am just really annoyed that it got broken or damaged so quickly. It's just frustrating. So hopefully when I do eventually get a Joker Expressions Pack figure, my god, it's so expensive, I really hope that figure is nowhere near as fragile as this one or some of the other DC collectible figures, because even some of the more bulky ones such as Mr. Freeze, there were some fragile joints and parts there, so I'm gonna be, I guess, extra careful next time I pick up one of these figures. Ugh. Subscribe, suggest, and comment below, and of course take care and have a nice day. I will see you guys soon. Bye bye now.